Good morning, this is Jerry, and this is my backyard garden project. And I am standing in the middle tier of my backyard. I've got this lower tier. This is what I had filmed and posted previously. And now I'm up here on this middle tier, and I've got one more here and a fourth one up there that I'm working on. This is the spot that I had planted potatoes in last year. I had put 5 pounds of red potatoes in the ground, and I got right at 100 pounds back. This year, not quite so good. I planted 5 pounds again in this same spot, and for whatever reason, I got about 20 pounds back. It was a very poor year for all of my potatoes, everything that I had planted. So my fall garden is in full swing, and I've got some acorn squash here. There's a couple of them that have set on. This one is a decent size. Got one over here, it's a little bigger. And I even have, a nice surprise of a ladybug there. So this one is the size of a softball. I had planted these in pots and then transplanted them here. So I don't know how vigorously they're growing compared to ones that would have been direct planted, into the ground by seed. And I think I'll try that next year just to see what happens. These seem to be a little slow. These are not large plants, but having never done acorn squash, I have nothing to compare them to except other squashes like zucchini squash. I've got 5 of them in the ground. I've got 1, 2, and 3 here that are producing. These are ones that I have hand pollinated using a Q-tip, and it's just a matter of waiting for a male flower to open and swabbing it with a Q-tip and then applying that pollen to an open female flower. And I'm finding that like this one here, that one just came right off because it wasn't pollinated. I'm finding that these female flowers are not always opening at the same time as the males, and vice versa. So I've got, for example, this plant isn't producing any squash yet, and it's not growing very fast, but it does have a male flower on it. So even if it doesn't give me any squash, I can leave it just for the sake of the flower, which increases my chances of pollination, or gives me the opportunity to hand pollinate. So they're growing okay, and I'll probably save some seeds off of them. I got one. This is my last one over here, and again, it's not putting anything on, but it does have some flowers, so that's okay. I'll just keep leaving it and keep watering it and see what happens. I've got some sweet potatoes here, or yams, depending on your point of view. They were purple. I had bought them at Sprouts Market over in the Bay Area in Dublin or San Ramon. And so they were purple. I brought them home, stuck them in some mason jars with water, propped them up with toothpicks, and as they set on, I broke the slips off and transplanted them here, and they grew just fine, but kind of slow. And again, realizing my soil is poor, they didn't grow as fast or as vigorously as I thought they should, but they still grew nonetheless. When I finally dug them up, they weren't purple, they were red. And now I have these volunteers that just keep coming up, and I've tried digging them out a number of times and just can't get rid of them. So I'm just going to leave them and see what happens. I've got some beets here. These are Detroit dark red. Got 2 little plots here and one in another section. And the chickens are having fun. These are our new hens. They are, they were born the 1st of August, so September. So they're right at 90 days old, and they're having fun jumping up there trying to get the grapes off of that. So these beets, some of these here are not as big, haven't grown as vigorously as others. I've got some here that, like this one, is probably larger than a golf ball and smaller than a hard ball. So They're okay. I'm getting ready to pull a number of these out and trim them up and get them ready for canning. I've eaten a number of them fresh, just boiling them and then slipping the skin off, and they're quite tasty. We've got a Concord grape here. It's died back. Most of the leaves are gone. It didn't do very well last year, but this year Katie had bought a steam juicer and was able to make grape jelly, which turned out nice. I've got, this is one of several purple broccoli that I have planted, and at least 3 of these are. This one over here may be a cauliflower, but they're still young. I don't know what they're going to do, but again, like everything else, time will tell. This is a broccoli plant that I put here I started it from seed, and it's been here since September of 2012, and it had gone to seed completely. That's where all of these blunt cut ends were from, but it didn't die, so I left it just to see what would happen, and it's continued to kind of thrive a little bit, and I water it periodically, probably about once a week, and it's still producing. Let's see if I can get here where the sun isn't going to interfere with this. It's still producing some florets, though they want to go to seed really fast, and it is loaded with aphids. There's aphids all over here. So, you know, I'm not eating anything off of this, so I just thought it would be interesting to see how long a plant like this would live. And then, oops, almost stepped on it. Butternut squash. And again, I've been hand pollinating some of these, and I noticed this morning that I've got this one here. Get these leaves back. It has some sort of a split in it, though I don't know why. I don't know what that's from. It's splitting starting from the stem here. Let's see. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, it's splitting up this way and then across. And I don't know why. I don't know if I'm watering it too much and it's growing too fast, or if there's something else responsible for this. But again, like the acorn squash, I've noticed that some of the male and female flowers are not opening up at the same time, at least at first. Now that there's more of them and they've gotten larger, and these were planted from seed, I'm getting more male flowers and more female flowers opening up at relatively the same time. Got several here. Some of these I've hand pollinated. All of these, 2, 4, 6 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where is it? Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hand pollinated them, and there's one. Where'd it go? There's 1, 2 more here. So that's 8 just on this end, and a little tiny one here. I don't know if that's too many for a plant like this to handle, but time will tell. A couple more fairly decent sized ones here that are doing okay. A few more there. And these down here at this end were the ones that I had transplanted from pots. So again, not growing quite as fast as the others, but still getting to a place now where they're sitting on. And I think that one I hand pollinated. So they're doing okay. And then a couple of volunteer tomatoes from my crop earlier this year, which didn't turn out too well. And then more beets. Some of these are quite large. These beets are older than the other set, and by about probably a good month. This is a retaining wall section that I worked on earlier this year. I've got one post here that's leaning forward. I've got to dig out behind it and kind of shore it back and stabilize it. And then this small planter section here, if you've seen my previous videos, you know I've got a ton of excess dirt here because nothing's ever been cared for, and so I have been steadily, in the 2 years that we've moved here, moving all that dirt out and getting rid of it, and I got tired of shoveling. So in this case, instead of taking 5 yards of dirt or whatever it is out and hauling it off somewhere, I spent the time to take smaller pallets that I had and shorter posts that I couldn't use elsewhere, and make this smaller planter, which it goes from there right over to here, and it's about 2 feet high and 2 or 2.5 feet deep, front to back, and so it's a nice little spot. I may end up turning it into a small greenhouse, but I'm not sure yet. But anyway, this middle section is doing fairly well, and I've got a couple more things that I'm working on up above from here, but I'll film those on another day. So today it's going to be pull beets out of the ground and top them off and boil them, get them ready for canning, and that'll round out my day. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.